Today is turning out to be a bit of a soaker, and I want to talk to you guys about what is the best way to work in the rain. That's coming up next on The Urban Farmer. For the moment, I've got a slight break from the rain, but it's been raining steadily for about 16 hours. And my whole approach when I'm farming is I want to avoid harvesting in the rain as much as I can, especially with greens. The first thing I do during my week, if I think it's going to be rainy, is I look at the 7-day forecast and get an idea of what my week is going to be like. For the most part, we'll do most of our harvesting on Thursday, which is today, and it's raining today. So what I'll do is look ahead, and if I see that it's raining on Thursday, I'll try to do as much harvesting before Thursday as possible, or look at alternative things that we can do before that. So what that means is, can we harvest in the greenhouses? If it's raining on Thursday, can we do harvesting in greenhouses? Can we harvest microgreens? Is there other alternative work we can do? And can I schedule around avoiding harvesting in the rain? So if I want to avoid harvesting on a rainy Thursday like this, I might do my harvesting on Wednesday. What if it's going to be rainy on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday? I might switch my entire week around. Normally, I do my bed prep and planting on Mondays and Tuesdays. But if I look and it's going to be soaking rain all week, but maybe Monday and Tuesday aren't, I'll do all of our harvesting on Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll do planting and bed prep when it's rainy, because I can do those kind of things in the rain, more or less. You know, if it's absolutely pissing rain the entire week, well then sometimes you just have to suck it up and deal with it, and I'll talk about that as well. But sometimes just structuring your week differently is the best way to avoid really uncomfortable conditions. There are some vegetables that are just easier to harvest in the rain, or that I don't mind harvesting in the rain, I should say. Radishes would be one of those. Any type of bulb root vegetable, beets, turnips, radishes, those kind of things I don't mind harvesting in the rain. The things that I want to avoid harvesting in the rain as much as I possibly can is greens, because that means I have to wash them. If I have to harvest them in the rain, they need to be washed, and I would rather avoid that at all costs. The only way this kind of thing is possible is if you have a walk-in cooler. If you don't have a walk-in cooler, you can't be flexible with your harvest days. That's why having cold storage is so important. There are times, however, that you just have to harvest in the rain. There's nothing you can really do about it. The challenge with harvesting greens like this, so look at these mustard greens. I just harvested this bit yesterday. I'm going to harvest the rest today, and I'll probably wait a little bit, because the problem is that a green like this, which is a scarlet frills mustard, it leans over when it gets rained on, and it makes it a lot more difficult to harvest, especially with my greens harvester. So I'm going to wait on this one. I'm going to wait to see if it clears up near the end of the day. It looks like it's supposed to, and I might even wait till Friday to harvest that. On rainy days, we'll do as much work as we can in the greenhouses for harvesting until we can hold off going back outside. So if there's work that we can do with washing or any packing, we'll do as many things that we can under cover to wait out the rain. Having said all of this, I always look at the daily forecast to see what I might expect. And really, the daily forecast could be looking online, but usually you're better off just looking outside to see how it's going to be. So if I don't think that it's going to stop raining all day, then we're eventually just going to have to suck it up and go for it. And, you know, there's not much you can do. You're working in the rain. I find having a good pair of mud boots and a good rain jacket, which I'm not wearing right now, is really key. I also like to wear rubber gloves like this. If I have to work in the rain and I'm harvesting root veggies or anything like that in the rain, I like to wear rubber gloves because they keep my hands warm and dry. I find that's the number one thing that really can deter your spirits. Well, wet hands and wet feet can really dampen your spirits. So keeping those dry. The rest of it, you know, it's just wearing some warm clothes, trying to keep the water off you as best you can, but ultimately staying warm. Sometimes, especially in the summer months or the spring months when it's warm and rainy, you're better off just getting wet but staying warm, because if you're too overdressed with rain gear, you're just gonna sweat and get really wet anyways. So I find good wool shirts, like those Helly Hansen wool shirts, sometimes directly on my skin. I'll wear a shirt like that if it's a soaker, keep my head covered with a hat like this, rubber gloves, rubber boots, and just get out there and go for it. I try to avoid harvesting in the rain at all costs. Our greens, any deep root vegetables like carrots, or a herb like basil, those things I want to avoid at all costs. But you know, out of those three, the one I need to avoid at all costs, basil. I cannot harvest basil in the rain because it'll spoil. So you must find a time that it's dry to harvest that crop. Carrots, you can harvest in the rain, but the challenge is that when you're forking them out, if the soil's muddy, it's really difficult and slow, and you really have to wash them. The ground will clump up and stick to the carrots, so it really becomes time consuming. Carrots would be the second one I would want to avoid at all costs. Greens, you can harvest in the rain if you have to. It just means you have to wash them, and harvesting is going to be slow. So just keep in mind with all of this that sometimes you just have to suck it up, but we will try to bend and flex to avoid harvesting in the rain and do it when the weather is more agreeable. Alright, if you guys have found that helpful, please hit the subscribe button right now, like and share these videos with your friends. Check out my online course, profitableurbanfarming.com, my book at theurbanfarmer.co, and if you'd like to make a donation so that I can keep making this content free, please consider making a donation at theurbanfarmer.co/support. Okay guys, we'll see you again soon.